There was a celebration yesterday at the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Now, although ESPN organized the celebration, all of their pretend friends in the mainstream media were invited. The pride was damn sure on display as the media celebrated the spawn of Bron and his breakout game in a 29-point ass whooping that he received from the Milwaukee Bucks. This kid is amazing! Bronny is stunting like his daddy, stunting like his daddy. Bronny James finally made a layup. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! After the ass whooping the Lakers received, there was plenty of ass kissing. You don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. Stephen A. Smith has been in this one-sided catfight with LeBron James for the past couple of weeks. Stephen A. has been doing his best to keep this storyline alive, but all of a sudden, Stevie put their differences aside to praise the spawn of Bron because he scored 17 points in a glorified exhibition. Watch for yourself.
I was very impressed. I was very impressed because I saw an elevation in his level of confidence and poise. It was like it didn't really faze him. He didn't look as nervous as he had looked in previous appearances on the basketball court. He looked like somebody that belonged. Now, obviously, Milwaukee gave it to them last night, but just looking at the Lakers without LeBron, without Luka, without Rui Hachimura, without Austin Reeves, of course, that put Bronny James in a position where he could get his 30 minutes, but give credit where credit is due. There were some moves that he put out on the court, ball handling skills, getting to the basket, finishing at the basket, pulling up for jumpers, hitting a three, 17.7 to 10 shooting from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong. Are you listening, LeBron James? Are you listening, James family? Are you listening, Rich Paul? Are you listening, all of you people?
First of all, credit where credit is due. LeBron James must be very powerful. LeBron James must be intimidating because this dude seems to have Stephen A. Smith and the other woke welfare collectors at ESPN shook. These dudes are terrified to be honest about Bronny James. Look, we haven't talked much about Bronny James in the last few months. Since the unnecessary spectacle opening night of the NBA regular season, I think we've talked about Bronny James once. There's a reason for that, and it's not because of deference to the self-proclaimed king. It's not because Bronny James is above criticism. It's not because sensitive Bron gets in his feelings when he sees his spawn criticized. That's my son! Why are you criticizing my son? You put your son in the international spotlight. You literally orchestrated the draft to get your son drafted to Los Angeles, which fine. That's fine. I understand why LeBron James wants to spend the final years of his NBA career playing alongside his son, or in this case, having his son on the bench as he watches his father play. Over the last 22 years, LeBron James has spent a lot of time away from home. He has sacrificed time with his kids to achieve his dreams. So, I get it. I understand a father wanting to make up lost time with his son. But that does not mean Bronny James is above criticism. The reason I have barely mentioned Bronny James is because there's really nothing to talk about. Why am I going to waste your time? Keywords, your time. Why am I going to waste your time talking about someone who averages 5 minutes a game? Why am I going to waste your time talking about a player who has spent most of the season in the G League? But KC, Bronny has been dominating the G League. He's going to be the MVP at the YMCA. Yeah, I understand why you would believe that. The way the media is celebrating him, you would think that Bronny James is the second coming of Detlef Shrimp. One of the main reasons, though, that I laid off of Bronny James, he didn't ask for any of this. If I remember correctly, he was open to being drafted by any team. He was open to playing in the G League. I don't think it's fair to overly criticize Bronny James for the sins of his father. Not literal sins, obviously, but you get the point. Once again, Bronny James is in the headlines through no fault of his own. This time, it's the mainstream media overhyping something that is absolutely meaningless. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you have topic ideas or suggestions, you can shoot me an email, btlkc84@gmail.com. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Yesterday on the second channel, talked about ratings for the secondary dump, Unrivaled. How the mainstream media is polishing this turd and presenting these ratings as a success when the reality is Unrivaled was a huge embarrassing failure. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. Thursday night, the Bucks played the Lakers in Los Angeles. Game was over by the end of the first quarter. Milwaukee built a 15-point lead, and I don't think they trailed the rest of the game. The final score was 118-89. In the year of our Lord 2025, scoring 89 points in an NBA game, that is damn near equivalent to WNBA level basketball. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. It ain't that bad. I mean, there is nothing worse than WNBA basketball. I shouldn't disrespect the NBA like that, even if the Lakers were playing with their practice squad. Listen to some of these players that were on the court for the Lakers the other night. These were some of the guys playing meaningful minutes. Jordan Goodwin, Cam Reddish, Trey Jemison, I didn't know whether to read his name or if I was reading the letters off of an eye chart. Alex Lynn Shake Milton. Who, and who? I watch a lot of the NBA, and even I've never heard of some of these players. The point is, this was essentially a throwaway game. There was nothing special about it. There was no reason for an abundance of highlights to be shown on SportsCenter. The Lakers essentially handed this win to the Bucks. Outside of Milwaukee, I doubt anyone was watching this painfully boring disaster except the lovers of LeBron James in the mainstream media. This game was cause for celebration. A star is born. Bronny James played 30 minutes, scored 17 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. I had several of you guys reach out to me yesterday asking what I thought of Bronny's performance. I mean, I thought he was fine. But I also had some of you guys ask, what does it mean? Like I said, the media is portraying this performance as Bronny James is ready for the NBA. He's proven us wrong. This kid is a huge star. One thing I thought was interesting was the media conveniently overlooking Bronny's plus-minus numbers. Now, full transparency here. I hate plus-minus. I think it's one of the most meaningless statistics in all of sports. Plus-minus is a horrible metric when it comes to judging a player's efficiency. But with the media being obsessed with stats, I thought it was interesting that many of them conveniently overlooked this one statistic. I wonder why. I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that Bronny James was a minus 36, meaning the Lakers were outscored by 36 points when Bronny James was on the floor. Again, that is no reflection on Bronny James. I just thought it was interesting that that stat was overlooked. Now, does this one performance mean that Bronny James is ready for the NBA? Does this one performance mean Bronny James will be in the Lakers rotation going forward? Does this mean that he is ready to contribute to a team with championship aspirations? Hell, does this mean he's ready to contribute to a team with aspirations of landing the #1 pick in the draft? No, 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 and no. Truth is, this performance was meaningless. The only reason it is being highlighted is because it's Bronny James. Think about it. Replace Bronny James with Antonio Reeves. Antonio Reeves went to Kentucky. He was drafted in the second round by the Pelicans last year. I think he was drafted 8 spots ahead of Bronny James. They play the same position. They are both shooting guards. Back in November, Antonio Reeves scored 34 points in a 28-point blowout loss against Cleveland. How many of you guys heard about it? How many of you saw Stephen A. Smith going on national television and claiming that Antonio Reeves is ready to play in the NBA? How many of you saw Stephen A. Smith apologizing to the Reeves family? You know how many points Antonio Reeves has scored in the NBA since? His 34-point game happened on November the 20th. In the last 4 months, Antonio Reeves has scored a total of 91 points. There are a lot of guys who have career nights in the NBA. Throughout the regular season, teams will sit half their starters, or teams like the Mavs or the Pelicans, they will be ravaged by injuries and players will step in and contribute. I mean, there's only 5 players on the court. Someone has got to score. A couple of months ago, Elfrid Payton literally walked off the street and had a 20-assist game. You know where Elfrid Payton is right now? Before he signed another 10-day contract with the Pelicans just yesterday, Elfrid Payton, he was serving blueberry waffles at the Waffle House. I know Thursday night was a big moment for Bronny James personally. And look, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that Bronny James finally had his moment after he's dealt with constant criticism all season. It was a nice moment for him. It was a nice moment for his family. But for everyone else, it means nothing. In the grand scheme of the NBA, it means nothing. Once the Lakers get healthy, wouldn't surprise me if Bronny James doesn't play another game the rest of the season. You know, I feel bad for Bronny James because he has been put in an impossible situation. Even if Bronny James makes the Lakers roster next season, more than likely, he is never going to be more than a role player in the NBA. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But for a lot of people, they will view that as a failure. Now, of course, I could be wrong. I am damn sure no scout. Unlike Mina Kimes, I don't pretend to be an NBA analyst. Bronny is still young. He could develop. But with a lot of these superstar players, you just know. There's just something about them, and I just don't see it with Bronny James. But give me your thoughts on this. The media overreacts to Bronny James' career performance. Does this one performance mean that Bronny James is ready to contribute on a night-to-night basis in the NBA? I don't think so. What about you? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.